Jersey, to the Prudential Center, the site of the 2007 StubHub Legends Classic. Welcome to Newark, New Jersey, and the brand new Prudential Center, the site of the 2007 StubHub Legends Championship game tonight between Tennessee and Texas. Hello, everyone. Rich Ackerman, along with Jim O'Brien. And Jim, it's been a great weekend of basketball so far. Tonight, our championship game between Tennessee and Texas. Last night, the 7th-ranked Volunteers just got past West Virginia. And with all the attention centered on All-American Chris Lofton, it was center Wayne Chisholm that had the big night.
Well, Lofton ended up with 19. Very quiet 19, I might add. But you know when you play Tennessee, you got to push out on the guards. Tennessee, a very good three-point shooting team. However, when they have nights such as last night, they need to go to somebody inside. Wayne Chisholm has to be their guy. Last night he stepped up great. He had 17 points, 7 rebounds. Obviously, very, very physical player inside.
Fell in love with that three-point shot as well. 2 of 2 from three-point range. I don't know if that's the plan tonight, but it certainly worked last night. As for Texas, they had an easy time against New Mexico State. One reason why, a terrific performance from their backcourt of DJ Augustine and AJ Abrams.
Rich, it's been a long time since I've seen a performance by 2 guys in the same backcourt.
Turned and is back in the starting lineup tonight. Let's check our StubHub starting lineup. For Tennessee, the All-American, as we mentioned, Chris Lofton starting alongside Jordan Howell in the backcourt. They'll be matched up alongside A.J. Abrams and D.J. Augustine. A tough matchup, a good one, and it's coming up. Bruce Pearl, the coach of the Volunteers in his 3rd season. What a job he has done thus far. 51-19 after 2 seasons. His 46 wins, the best in school history.
Last year,
for Texas, Rick Barnes as well, the dean of coaches in the Big 12, now in his 10th year, 12 straight NCAA tournament appearances, including 9 with Texas, Jim.
Last year, both schools enjoyed tremendous success. Great accomplishments by both of these guys. And this should be very, very entertaining game right here, Rich.
Referees for tonight's matchup, Brian Kersey, Mike Wood, and Brian Dorsey, as we're getting set to tip off the championship game of the 2007 StubHub Legends Classic. These schools no stranger to one another. 4th straight year they'll be matched up against one another. Last year, a thriller, won in overtime by Tennessee and Knoxville, 111-105 behind 35 from Chris Lofton. And a look at the All-American Lofton. Brian Kersey set to throw it up. The only game this evening featuring 2 ranked teams, Tennessee and Texas, and the Vols on the board early from Wayne Chisholm.
Beautiful way to start the game for them.
DJ Augustine coming off a terrific night last night. Throws it inside, but James couldn't handle it. So only 11 turnovers last night for the Longhorns, but they commit one on their first possession. Tyler Smith taking it to the basket, dumps off for Chisholm, and he's 2 for 2 quickly. 4-0 Volunteers out in front. Mason, watched by Chris Lofton, puts it on the floor over Chisholm, short, and Tyler Smith with the rebound. Smith cleaning the break, but now pulls it out for Jawan Smith. Deep 3. And a whistle on the play. The foul will be
very explosive. The guards will dominate the action both sides. There'll be a lot of threes, and points off turnovers are going to be critical. You must control the basketball, or else the other side will get some easy shots.
Well, Tennessee had one on their last possession. Chisholm with 4 points, the only points of this game thus far. James out of the post and banks it in. So Texas on the board, more than a minute in. 4-2, Tennessee on top. The Volunteers quickly back the other way. Jordan Howell thought about the 3. Chisholm, who was 2 for 2 last night, his 3rd shot attempt, and good. Dwayne Chisholm 7 and Texas 2.
I'm definitely a believer now. He only had one of those all season until this tournament.
Actually answers for the Longhorns beating Chisholm.
I like what Texas is doing here, Rich. They're not settling for the threes like last night. They're really making a point of going inside. 2 inside hoops already.
Chisholm had 17 last night, already with 7 in the first minute and 45 seconds this evening. And Tennessee, a very deliberate pace right now. Smith, James out on him, uses the screen. He'll attempt a three-pointer. That one off the mark. And Justin Mason with the rebound. DJ Augustine with 25 in last night's win for the Longhorns finds Ashley down low again. And the easy basket. So 2 baskets inside for Connor Ashley, who had 15 last night. Howell slips. Augustine picks up the loose ball. And this will be another.
They're not just happy to get possession. They want to go right at you and score immediately.
The centers have done the bulk of the scoring thus far, as Tyler Smith tries to get involved. Chisholm with 4. Make that 7, and 2 for Tyler Smith. And the Volunteers up by 9 to 8 early on. Justin Mason. The bucket does not.
Looks like Texas wants to be up in the backcourt. They're going to go and trap the dribbler, and just to try to get Tennessee to see what they're doing, take some time. However, Tennessee is not the type of a team that's going to take a whole lot of time. They're going to attack you. And he did.
And Augustine called for a carry. We've seen that a lot through the first couple of games of this tournament.
You know, he's right on the he's right on the point of, like, is it going to be a carry or not? If they don't call the carry, it really is an effective move to get a good shot off of him.
Ramar Smith into the game for Tennessee. Jawan Smith in for Tyler Smith, who dribbles out of the double team and finds Jawan Smith open. Rebound by Ashley. And Mason comes back to get it. Mason looking to go up against the bigger Tyler Smith. Augustine. Ramar Smith way out on him. Augustine strung to the basket and in. Very nicely done by DJ Augustine. And Texas now with a 12-9 lead over Tennessee. Jawan Smith looking to answer for 3. Smith gets his own rebound. Lofton spin move. Jawan Smith thought about another three-pointer and called for the offensive foul. So Texas with the ball. James into the front court. A little more than 4 minutes gone by. Texas on a 10-2 run over the last 2.5 minutes. The Longhorns lead by 3. Mason puts it on the floor. A clear path to the basket.
Well, that's not good defense right there. First of all, he's got to get some help off the screen. Then once he gets in around the basket, there's got to be some other help defenders.
The lead up to 5 now for Texas. Cameron Tatum in the game for Tennessee. Lofton over Abrams, and the three-pointer is good. So Tennessee, which started 1 for 5 from three-point range, finally getting the shot from Lofton.
Tennessee's up in the backcourt, but it's like one trap and out. See if they can get something easy, and then they get out. They don't want to give up easy baskets while they extend defensively.
Abrams, who had the big night from three-point range last night, setting a career high with 31 points in all. Augustine putting it on the floor again. Nice spin move out for Ashley. Three-pointer over Chisholm. And Connor Ashley, a big start so far, and the Longhorns up 17-12. Ashley with 9 already.
He gives you such a different dimension because he has to bring their big people away from the basket to guard him because he has that ability to make threes.
Chisholm out high, hoping to draw Ashley away from the basket. Lofton again from three-point range and hits. Chris Lofton, consecutive three-pointers on consecutive trips. Ashley again, this time can't get it to go. His first miss, but the follow is good. So 11 for Ashley, and Texas up 19-15. And the foul.
Back, and Texas is right at the.
A couple of substitutions for the Volunteers. Brian Williams into the game. Alexei Wanmeni in for Texas.
And on the dead ball, Texas goes to a 2-3 zone.
You like that move? You know, Lofton has hit three-pointers in back-to-back trips. He's now out of the game, but they don't really have that big three-point specialist out there now.
Right, and I don't think it's any small coincidence that they go to the zone when he goes out.
Ramar Smith attempts a three and hits. So 3 straight 3-point field goals for the Volunteers, and it's a 1-point game. Abrams over Chisholm, short, and it'll go the other way.
It's because everybody is so extended. They're so concerned about Augustine and Abrams that they're spacing under the basket.
Chisholm for Williams. Lamar Smith, watched by Augustine. For Jawan Smith, uses the screen from Williams. Williams working in the post on Dexter Pittman. Very, very strong, not even close. Here's Mason, pulls up and hits.
They are on you in a heartbeat. You better be running back defensively.
So Tennessee, it's a 3-point game, but Tennessee could be a lot worse had they not started heating up from 3-point range. Their last 3 field goal attempts have all been good. 2 from Chris Lofton. Of course, Lofton on the bench right now, and Ramar Smith running the show. And Smith, for the second time tonight, we've seen that carrying.
Gets an advantage by making an illegal dribble. I think that's when they want to cut that out.
Mason, who hit last time down the floor for the Longhorns. Dexter Pittman inside, throws it back out.
Good double team on the low post right that time. Made the ball come back out, and Tennessee quick enough to recover back to the perimeter.
Pittman, a player who conditioning certainly left a lot to be desired, but has lost over 70 pounds. Augustine, the runner.
My goodness.
We've seen Augustine the last 2 nights hit shots from very difficult angles. Tyler Smith trying to answer at the other end. Rebounded by Pittman. Here's Abrams quickly the other way. Down low for Mason. And slammed home by Pittman. And now with the Longhorns up by 7, Lofton set the check back in.
What Tennessee likes to do against man-to-man defense is run this little reverse action offense where they set some screens along the baseline, 2 guys out front, 3 guys running off each other along the baseline.
And Marsh, oddly, their 1 3-pointer has come from Connor Ashley.
And here's Tennessee up much more aggressive on their pressure. You roll the dice a little bit when you want to get up this, they're going.
Lofton called for the foul, his second.
Tennessee does a great job. 1 trap and out. Don't give up anything easy.
Augustine guarded by Jordan Howell. Augustine cut off. Ashley finds Abrams, quick release. Ashley with the follow, too strong. And a whistle going the other way. And they got Damian James.
Connor Ashley, I mean, he is a handful for somebody to be dealing with. He steps out 2 or 3 steps behind the 3-point line. He has the ability to shoot threes. He's a very good passer. And when somebody else shoots, he is like a dart to the basket. Hard guy to defend.
10.5 minutes left first half. Texas by 7. Lofton for 3 again, short. Pulled down by Tyler Smith. Tennessee out-rebounded badly last night by West Virginia, but that hasn't been the case so far tonight. And Howell with a second chance knocks down the 3-pointer.
Hard pressure again in the backcourt.
And Augustine forced to call timeout. So Tennessee trying to use some defense to get back into this game, create some offense that way, as the Volunteers trail by 4, 25-21. And it has been a very slow start offensively for the Volunteers thus far. 5 of 11 from 3-point range. The 2007 StubHub Legends Classic. It has been a great weekend here at the Prudential Center. And we are honoring the legends. Slater Martin of the Texas Longhorns, the forerunner to the modern-day point guard. Perhaps one of these players on the floor for Texas will be considered a legend one day. A.J. Abrams had a great night last night. DJ Augustine as well. Augustine from 3 and knocks it down over Howell.
Well, that's what makes him so effective, because you need to get up on him, and when you get concerned about him going by you on the dribble, it gives him a little bit of space.
Cruz, bottled up, kicks it out for Smith, all the room in the world, and knocks down the three. So suddenly, both teams have fallen in love with a three-point shot. Texas by 4. James inside the arc, pulled down by Cruz. Josh Tabb for Smith along the baseline. Howell hoists a three. It's good.
I think Howell's a pretty underrated player. You know, he doesn't really look for a shot too much because he knows what his role is, try to find the other guys, especially Lofton. But if you don't guard him, he's a very good open three-point shooter.
Augustine had it poked away from behind by Smith. Tapped up, James pulls it down. James again on the wing. And we have a foul on Alexei Wanmeni. So the freshman
feel most comfortable with the three guards.
It's a one-point game with just under 9 minutes left, and Tennessee has gotten back into this one on the strength of its three-point shooting. They started 1 for 5, but since have been terrific. Cruz, beautifully done. And Tennessee back on top, 29-28. Augustine looking for an outlet. Jawan Smith up on him. Uses the screen. Three-point attempt is good.
Well, if you're going to have to guard him off ball screens, somebody's got to step out and help. I don't think the way to play that is to go underneath the screen. Just like Texas is doing right here. You need to have the big guys get out and help on that.
Tyler Smith finds Cruz. He lost control, but Tyler Smith recovers. Tyler Smith from 3. Damian James pulls it down. Augustine, snap pass. Ashley, beautifully done. How did he get it into the hands of Ashley?
That thing I thought was going to be sailing out of bounds.
The long arms of Connor Ashley pulling it down, and he has 13. Welcome back. These lucky fans moving up to the front row. The StubHub move of the game. Everybody having a great time here at the Prudential Center, the 2007 StubHub Legends Classic, and especially DJ Augustine, 25 last night, 10 already tonight.
Well, I think threes.
Longhorns by 4, 33-29. And James bringing it across, rather Justin Mason bringing it across for Texas. James in trouble, almost throws it away, recovered by Augustine. Augustine dribbling into traffic, and he's called for the offensive foul. So as good as DJ Augustine has been, he picks up his second foul.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. I mean, he's going, but I think the defender is moving there, and the kid is going, Augustine's going sideways. He's not really even going to the hoop.
Check that, only the first on Augustine. Chisholm inside. Ashley. And Chisholm diving on the floor, calls timeout. So with 6:57 left in the first half, Texas leads Tennessee by a score of 33-29 in the championship game of the StubHub Legends Classic here at the Prudential Center in
now West Virginia guarded them.
6th meeting all time between the two schools. A thriller last year, won by Tennessee in overtime, 111-105. Chris Lofton, a career high 35 in that game, 20 coming after halftime. And right now the Volunteers with the ball, trailing by 4. Ramar Smith for Tyler Smith. There's Josh Tabb. Cameron Tatum three-point attempt. Gets the roll. Shooters love the friendly rims, Jim.
Well, he was lucky on that one. That was a contested jumper also.
And Tatum, those long arms, coming in at 6'6", giving DJ Augustine some problems. So Bruce Pearl going with a little defensive set here, trying to put the bigger player on Augustine. Ashley from 3. This time can't get it to fall. Josh Tabb the rebound. Quick pass for Smith into the front court. Tyler Smith back to Ramar. Ramar Smith baseline and the foul. Ramar Smith, who has that explosiveness to the basket, using it there. Jimmy just took off and beautiful move to the basket.
I think Texas needs to do a little bit of a better job, at least on that play, of getting some offside help defense. The guys just didn't rotate quick enough to the basket. They're trying to force him, take him away from the middle and give him baseline a little bit, but you have to get a little bit of help on the baseline.
Lamar Smith missing the free throw, and that's been a problem for him this year. Only 41% thus far, but his drive and basket did give the Volunteers a 34-33 lead. Clint Chapman into the game for Texas. Here's Mason working on Tatum, and Tatum fouls him.
It's really different, and this is where scouting reports come into play, Rich.
35-34, Texas on top. Tyler Smith thought about a three, gives it up, and Ramar Smith will reset.
Texas trying to change their defense in mid-possession. It's interesting when teams do that.
Smith in the high post, Ashley defending him, and Tatum knocks down another three. Twice he's hit three-point shots with a man in his face. Mason slips. Abrams looking for his first points, and he's got it. So A.J. Abrams putting Texas back on top, 38-37, with just under 5 minutes left in this first half.
Here's Texas again, showing the 2-3 zone.
Smith once again in the high post, working on Ashley, over Ashley, and gets the roll. Strong move by Tyler Smith to give the Volunteers a 1-point lead. Mason, Tatum out on him. He's swinging around for Abrams. Abrams quickly to the basket, off balance, and it's short. Outlet from Chisholm all the way to Josh Tabb. Too strong off the glass, and actually gives it up for Augustine. Quickly for Abrams.
So that's his little crossover. That's his little hesitation. It gets you to come up on him, and he wants to go by. But sometimes he does carry you. Really difficult to guard this.
Augustine, penetration, and a guard getting into the scoring column. Coming up with a big three-point shot. Volunteers, though, leading the Longhorns by 1. Tennessee leads by 1. In the first half, that thus far, Jim O'Brien has featured 10 lead changes. DJ Augustine trying to give the Longhorns the lead as he hits the first free throw. Tied at 39.
Fouling DJ is like giving them
down both of them, so lead change number 11, 40-39 Longhorns.
Comes a reverse action offense. Series of ball screens or screens along the baseline. 2 guys standing, passing the ball out front. 3 guys along the baseline.
Tyler Smith. Chisholm actually out on him, lofted off the curl. Floater, not even close, pulled down by Abrams. Abrams working on Ramar Smith. And Jawan Smith on Augustine. Mason trying to use the screen. 10 on the shot clock. James bottled up, finds Abrams for 3 and hits it. So A.J. Abrams has knocked down his last 2 attempts, and he has 6. Blocked by James. Nice effort by Mason, and then Augustine, and Ashley hauls it in. Great hustle by Texas. Well, 14 now for DJ Augustine. And Texas back up by 6, 45-39. Duke Cruz getting set to check in for Tennessee. 2.5 left in this first half. Lofton, Abrams giving him no space. Lofton three-point attempt short again. Here's Mason. Abrams, 2 for his last 2. Make it 3 for 3. 9 points. He got off to a slow start, but he can heat up quickly.
It's interesting how this is turned.
That's a 9-point lead for Texas. Here's Chris Lofton. Lamar Smith. And Augustine way out on him.
It's the baseline cuts, trying to find somebody inside.
Jawan Smith pulls up. Cruz rebound. Strong back up. Can't get it to go, though. And Damian James, another rebound for Texas. James goes baseline from James is good. So 50-39. Texas in front of Tennessee, coming up on 1.5 minutes left in this first half. Tennessee's offense has been streaky. They really need to find some consistency on that end. Cruz works on Ashley. And that's too strong. Another rebound for James.
James rebounds like a man.
James. Chisholm rips it down. Lofton creating for Lamar Smith. 3-pointers short. Jawan Smith pulls it down. And he's fouled on the play.
At least they get an attempt. You come back, you play defense for one possession. You have the chance to get the last shot, so you get that 2 for 1. If you walk the ball up the floor, you run a little bit of offense, then you're probably not going to get that chance. It basically gives you a free possession if you're interested in it.
Jawan Smith, an 85% free throw shooter, hits both, and it's back to 9. 50 seconds left in this first half. Augustine off the mark, coming up at halftime. We'll go around the college basketball landscape. Also pay a tribute to the legends on this StubHub Legends Classic.
John, I really like that 2 for 1 that he pulled at the end.
Augustine. One many couldn't hang on. The heave from Howell off the mark, and the first half comes to a close with Texas in front of Tennessee by a score of 50-41. It has been another big first half for DJ Augustine. 14 points to go along with 5 assists. Chris Lofton, the All-American for Tennessee, hitting from 3-point range, but Dexter Pittman inside and Augustine outside, and Texas up.
Augustine just stepping behind the ball screens and shooting threes.
Augustine with a terrific first half, and the Longhorns up by 9. Here are the first half stats brought to you by StubHub, and you look at the field goal percentage by Texas, Jim. It really stands out.
Rich, it's remarkable that those guys continue to shoot this well, especially against a good defensive team. And
the Tennessee guards this evening have had their hands full with the Texas backcourt. With the Texas backcourt, a slow start for A.J. Abrams, but he came on late in the first half, and it's been a big night for Augustine and Abrams again so far.
It just boggles my mind that these guys are able to shoot the percentage that they're shooting. I think Tennessee is a very good defensive team, and yet Texas, because they take pretty good shots, shooting 60%. But I think the difference in the first half is at the free throw line. Tennessee only took 2 free throws. Texas took 10 and cashed in on all 10 of them.
And a team that's struggling for offense right now, do you think maybe they'll be a little more aggressive in the second half, going to the basket, trying to create offense that way?
It would seem so.
Second half underway. Abrams, Howell out on him. Backdoor for Abrams. Beautifully done. Mason to Abrams. And the Longhorns with their largest lead of the night, 11. Augustine back the other way. Mason couldn't hang on to it. And
defender chases him over the top of that. It gives him an opportunity to keep going to the basket. Very nice play.
Augustine, fadeaway hits. DJ Augustine hits over Jawan Smith. The lead up to 13 now for Texas. At 13 right now, if Tennessee does not put any points up on this possession, does Bruce Pearl have to start thinking about calling a timeout if, in fact, they're not able to stop Texas, Jim?
Well, I think
this one gets away.
Yeah, I think that he's got maybe a few more possessions, and maybe he's going to make a change. That's just bad defense right there.
Mason lost Jawan Smith.
Texas was thinking about doing some switching, perhaps changing their defenses, and they got caught in between.
Beautiful.
Back passes, shoots threes, and he is long.
Actually with 14. And the Longhorns up by 12. Smith all alone inside, but couldn't get it to fall. Abrams quickly the other way. Real quick to the hoop, and he extends the lead to 14.
Love how explosive the Longhorns are. And there's a timeout you
by Texas, Jim. It really stands out.
Which it's remarkable that those guys continue to shoot this team. And
the Tennessee guards this evening have had their hands full with the Texas backcourt. For the Texas backcourt, a slow start for A.J. Abrams, but he came on late in the first half. And it's been a big night for Augustine and Abrams again so far.
It just boggles my mind that these guys are able to shoot the percentage that they're shooting. I think Tennessee is a very good defensive team. And yet Texas, because they take pretty good shots, shooting 60%. But I think the difference in the first half is at the free throw line. Tennessee only took 2 free throws. Texas took 10 and cashed in on all 10 of them.
And a team that's struggling for offense right now, do you think maybe they'll be a little more aggressive in the second half, going to the basket, trying to create offense that way?
It would seem so.
Second half underway. Abrams, Howell out on him. Backdoor for Abrams. Beautifully done. Mason to Abrams. And the Longhorns with their largest lead of the night, 11. Augustine back the other way. Mason couldn't hang on to it. And he's pushed from behind by Tyler Smith.
The foul is on Tennessee, number 1, Tyler Smith.
We saw this a couple of years ago with Princeton, working beautifully for.
When the defender chases him over the top of that, it gives him an opportunity to keep going to the basket. Very nice play.
Augustine, fadeaway hits. DJ Augustine hits over Jawan Smith. The lead up to 13 now for Texas. At 13 right now, if Tennessee does not put any points up on this possession, does Bruce Pearl have to start thinking about calling a timeout if, in fact, they're not able to stop Texas, Jim?
Well, I think
this one gets away.
Yeah, I think that he's got maybe a few more possessions, and maybe he's going to make a change. That's just bad defense right there.
Mason lost Jawan Smith.
Texas was thinking about doing some switching, perhaps changing their defenses, and they got caught in between.
Beautiful. Backdoor.
Rebounds, screens, passes, shoots threes, and he is long.
Actually with 14. And the Longhorns up by 12. Smith all alone inside, but couldn't get it to fall. Abrams quickly the other way. Real quick to the hoop, and he extends the lead to 14.
Love how explosive the Longhorns are.
57-43, Tennessee trying to climb out of a big hole. Tyler Smith gives it up for Howell. Three-point attempt is good. Jordan Howell, his second three-pointer of the night. And it cuts it to 11.
One of the things you look at from the sidelines is when a coach calls timeout, Rich, what do they get out of the timeout? Nice play by Tennessee out of the timeout.
Augustine couldn't get it to fall. Rebounded by Jawan Smith, who takes it 1-on-2, and it wasn't even close. Didn't even hit the rim. Not a good shot by Smith. Abrams turns and hits.
These two kids from Texas get so much penetration off the dribble because they're so quick, and the defense has to constantly retreat.
13 for Abrams. It's a 13-point game once again for Texas. Howell from way out. It was an NBA three. Smith, Tyler Smith, pulls it down, and it gets to inbound and gets it out to Jawan Smith. Back for Tyler Smith in the corner, fakes the three-pointer, drives to the basket, doesn't get the roll, and rebounded by Texas.
Augustine is always under control. He is absolutely in charge of this game.
Abrams, Powell giving him no room. Abrams trying to beat him off the dribble and hits again. 15 for A.J. Abrams. Chisholm way off, and actually ahead for Augustine. Here comes Texas. Augustine for three, it's short.
That's
by
one,
Tyler Smith.
Which that's one they didn't need.
Chisholm, another three-point attempt. That one's short. Tyler Smith, and the foul. Exactly what Tennessee needed. Chisholm attempted the three-point shot a moment ago, but you got to try to stop the clock a little and earn some extra chances.
Chisholm taking a lot of threes, but Tyler Smith is a load on the glass. A very good offensive rebounder. Has the ability right there to score and absorb the contact and get this chance for a three-point play. Before they just made this substitution, when they're playing with their five starters, they have five guys on the floor that all have the ability to shoot threes, which is very rare.
Tyler Smith unable to convert the three-point play, and it remains a 13-point game. Texas in front. There's Mason. Abrams moving along the baseline. Augustine works on Lofton. Mason passes up the three-point attempt. Kicks it out for Augustine, who takes it. And this is another three-point attempt. Ramar Smith, Cameron Tatum frees himself up for a jumper, in and out, and goes off Atchley.
Played a number of times, obviously outside their respective conferences, and I think the way they go after each other, this is turning into a pretty good non-conference rival for both sides.
Last year they had to go to overtime to decide it. Tennessee needs to get something going if they hope to rally in this one. Tyler Smith puts it on the floor. A couple of moves on Atchley, but blocked by Juan Benny. And goaltending on Tyler Smith. A 23-9 run by the Longhorns since they last trailed this game. Tyler Smith off the mark. Cameron Tatum with the rebound. Both have lost over 70 pounds to get into shape, trying to make an impact at this level with their respective schools. Lofton turnaround jumper is good.
That just fits into his reputation as a tough shot maker.
Texas up 63-50, a little over 5 minutes gone by in the second half. Pittman bottled up by Williams. Texas using a little clock here.
A.J. Abrams, when he catches it, he's ready to shoot it every single time. And if you're not right there on the catch, he's ready to pull the trigger.
Augustine watched by Lofton and couldn't get the roll. Pulled down by Ramar Smith. Lofton hit 19 points, but anytime you have the ability, Jim, to hit shots like this, you always have to be careful of them.
Yeah, he's trying to take advantage of his size advantage right there with Augustine nevertheless, but he shoots the ball quick and he shoots it high. Hard guy to mess with his shot.
Augustine watched by Ramar Smith. Abrams coming across. Augustine gives for Atchley. Back for Augustine.
Tennessee let them off the hook right there. Texas let them off the hook.
Three-point attempt is good by Augustine. So they work the clock down, and with 5 on the shot clock, Augustine nails the three, and the largest lead of the night for Texas. It's now up to 16.
See how Augustine jumps right out on Lofton, not giving him any space whatsoever.
Last night, Augustine and Abrams combined for 56. They've combined for 38 so far tonight. Chisholm for three. And again, not the shot that the Volunteers needed.
I know he can make a couple of those, but I'm not sure that that's what they need. They have enough other guys that can shoot threes.
Is it possible that after hitting a couple, Chisholm became enamored with it?
Perhaps.
Connor Atchley. He puts it on the floor and pushed by Williams. And right that time, Williams no match for the quicker Atchley.
No, and that'll be a tough matchup.
Throws it out long for Atchley.
Here comes AJ off the baseline again. They're just looking for him off these screens.
Instead, Augustine drives, and he's called for the offensive foul. Seemingly have paid dividends thus far.
Looks like Texas back into their 2-3 zone, just changing it up just a little bit.
Ramar Smith jumping in the lane, and Williams was just hammered by all their weight. And so far, that hasn't been an issue. Augustine knocks down another three.
See, this is a bad play by the defense. And I think it's good officiating. There was really no call to call an offensive foul. Guard steps in on the big guy, no call. And you can ill afford to be laying down on the floor while Augustine has the ball.
Chisholm in the post, and he's fouled by Dexter Pittman.
In fact, I don't think that Texas was challenged as much as Tennessee was last night.
And we have a whistle away from the ball.
Interestingly, both teams play man-to-man defense on out-of-bounds plays, and still both sides are having a hard time getting anything and having a hard time just getting the ball in bounds. Everything is being contested.
Juan Mene called for the foul, his second. Brian Williams goes to the line again, and that one's short, pulled down by Atchley.
They can ill afford, if they're going to get themselves back in this, they can ill afford to give away 3 points at the line. See, now they switch on the screen, and Texas lets them out of this a little bit by allowing them to switch back.
Abrams' quick release over Tyler Smith off the back end of the rim. Here comes Tab. And Tab called for a double dribble, so another turnover by the Volunteers, who trail by 17 to Texas. One reason why the big
just keeps retooling, and they stay right in the hunt all the time. And they've lost a lot of very good players early.
He said coaching is like being a barber. When one leaves, you say next.
Well, if they're looking for who's next, they found 2 guys in the backcourt right here.
Well, the interesting thing, too, for Texas, and Rick Barnes has never shied away from competition. Early season tournament and then games coming up against UCLA, Michigan State, and Wisconsin. How much does this tournament prepare them for that schedule, not only over the next month, but then the conference schedule after that?
Well, I think when you have an established, it gives you an idea that perhaps you have a chance to be a very good team. And I think the history shows that when you can win these type of tournaments, you probably are going to do very well towards the end of the season.
Tennessee having a tough time getting shots. And Bruce Pearl.
Or Wang Mene, pardon me.
It's a name you'll probably be hearing a lot of, so tough to pronounce now as Augustine had trouble getting in.
Great pressure by Tennessee.
Timeout.
Great pressure.
I'm sorry, he was called for a 5-second violation. Texas right now up by 17, trying to wrap up the StubHub Legends Classic Championship. We've had certainly a lot of early season NCAA college basketball tournaments. Duke winning the Maui, and Memphis winning the coaches versus Cancer in impressive fashion.
Rich, as I mentioned before, it's interesting how Tennessee, and I don't think it's any small coincidence that they've picked up their pressure with the lineup that Texas is playing with.
A kid who's 300 pounds, he certainly has very good footwork in the post. Duke Cruz, and throws it away.
Again, we talked about this yesterday a little bit. You don't like to see bigger guys that are not accustomed to handling the ball away from the basket, trying to get to the basket and making plays off the dribble.
Coming up on the halfway point of the second half, Texas in control, up by 19. Augustine looking for Pittman in the post. Is for Atchley. Now down low for Pittman, but Lofton for 3.
Great
well
defense.
Short.
Great defense by Pittman.
Might have gotten a piece of that one. And Augustine coming down for Texas. Texas very content to slow it down just a little here, up by 19.
Pretty good patience right here. Just really make Tennessee have to bleed. And then when you run some clock and you can get that call, That'll frustrate Tennessee right there, whether it was a foul or not.
Jawan Smith called for that foul, so his third, the sixth on Tennessee. So not in the penalty yet. Once again, the inbounds goes to Ashley. He's pressured by Tyler Smith.
Tennessee does a lot of switching. They have a huge mismatch right now with Howell guarding Wayne-Many in around the basket if they want to exploit that.
How about DJ Augustine, the latest in a long line of Texas guards? We highlighted Slater Martin before in our segment on the Legends, but TJ Ford, Daniel Gibson, and now Augustine. They've had some good guards in Austin. Down low, Cruz the rejection. Wayne-Many gets it back and puts it in.
Good basketball right there. Good offense and good defense.
Jawan Smith for three. And he cuts into that one. And they needed that desperately because still even with that one, the lead is now 18. 30-second timeout called.
Slow death for the defense because all they have to do is bring Augustine out here, and you can't guard him one-on-one. Here's a little fade screen. And that time they switched it.
Actually thought about the three-pointer, gives it off to James. James has it knocked away, but recovers. 5 on the shot clock. Augustine hoists the three, in and out, and put back in by Mason. So put back in for defensive purposes, comes through on the boards. And it's now a 20-point game.
Easy switches for Texas on the baseline when the guards cross. And they're off and running.
Jawan Smith.
So this is what you like about these guards. He knew that during the normal flow of the game, they would have gone and tried to score. Now he's just going to make them bleed. This is really, really hard for Tennessee right now because you can't foul him and you can't contain him. He's so good with the ball.
They don't turn the ball over that much either. Augustine always in control.
And you're just isolated out here. I mean, if you get up on him any closer, he does have the ability to go by.
He gives for Abrams the three. No good. Tipped by. Been a disappointing night. What's the silver lining in what has been a dark cloud so far for them?
Well, I think you can take something positive out of all of this. If you are Texas, by the way, you're going back and saying, you know, we have the chance to be a very good basketball team, and their confidence will be soaring once they leave here. If you're Tennessee, you come in with the lofty ranking, number 7. You come in, and for the last 2 days that we've been here, we've heard a lot of discussion about them being a Final Four team. And I think in the long run, this is not a bad thing for Tennessee. He will get their attention, maybe bring them off their high horse a little bit, and get them refocused and to work on some of the things that did not go well for them in these 2 days. So there's a lot of good for both teams right here.
Knocked away by Lofton with 2 on the shot clock, and Bruce Pearl was very quick to deflect all the talk of the Final Four. And he said that you look at the Final Four teams from previous years, whether it's Florida or North Carolina, and those teams had 3-4 players in the lottery, and this team doesn't quite have that, but they are very deep. As Ashley called, I should say Ashley credited with the basket, goaltending called on the play by Duke Cruz.
Very smart out of bounds play by Texas. They anticipated the pre-switching. I think there's a great coaching opportunity for Bruce to talk to these kids about just really what the real deal is right now.
Well, I think part of it comes because he's created such a level of excitement in Knoxville, revitalizing that program, and Tennessee men's basketball is now relevant. As Tennessee quickly going the other way. Here's Jawan Smith, and knocks down the three, 77-59, just over 5.5 left in the second half. But he plays an exciting style. He's a very electric personality. It's already resulted in an increase in attendance of over 7,000 per game. And everywhere he's been, he's turned it around quickly. Lofton, quick three-pointer is good. And it's 77-62, and Rick Barnes has seen enough. He quickly calls timeout.
Well, it really is an interesting dynamic right here. You find out that Tennessee is not going to just throw the towel in right here. They're going to come after you. And when you start to press and you start to trap, there are some opportunities at the other end for Texas. So Texas now has to make a decision as to whether or not They want to play against this. And if you go ahead and play to it, then you're going to take some quick shots. If you miss those shots, then you're going to have a problem. You're going to give them a chance to come back.
Well, it's been a quiet night for the Volunteers from three-point range, but back-to-back threes have given them some life here with just over 5 minutes left in the second half, and lofted a pretty stroke.
But both of those threes came in transition after Texas decided to go ahead and play against the pressure. If you decide you're going to walk it up and run some clock, it gives Tennessee an opportunity to be even more aggressive. But if you want to attack the pressure and go through it, there are going to be some quick shots at the other end. If you make those shots, the game is over. But if you miss, you're going to give them a chance to get back in it.
Texas facing some pressure from Tennessee. Augustine brings it across. He's quickly met by Ramar Smith.
But the last couple of possessions, they continued to trap over half court, and here they come again.
Ashley kicks it back out for Mason, content to use some of the clock.
Good patience by Texas. This is what I'm talking about. You know, no rush.
7 on the shot clock. Mason, Ashley for 3. And that is just a dagger right there.
They make that shot with 3 seconds on the shot clock. That is devastating to the team trying to come back.
A career-high 17 for Connor Ashley to go along with 10 rebounds. Also a career best. And Chisholm golf the last 2 years. First time that's happened since Mark McGuire went #1 in 1981 and Terry Cummings #2 in 1982. And Lamar Smith another 3. 82-65. Texas in front. And again the pressure by Tennessee. And again a turnover by the Longhorns.
Yeah, I think that this is the way that Tennessee would like to play anyway. I am a little bit surprised that they didn't turn up real intense, hard pressure a lot earlier than this. Regardless of what the score is, I think that they're at their best when they're playing like this.
Cruz can't handle the inbounds pass. Augustine tracks it down. And he throws team, but coming down the stretch, especially in tournament time, to have guards who are able to handle the ball and provide such offense and also get to the line and hit those free throws, that's invaluable. Augustine, another steal. Mason ahead of the floor. Fouled and one. And once again, it's a 20-point game. Augustine setting up his teammates.
Tennessee, these guys are going to be heard from, and they're going to have a terrific season. But sometimes you run into these situations where you play against a very good basketball team who's playing well.
Abrams the steal and basket. An impressive display by Texas, 88-65. Jawan Smith cuts it back to 20 again, but the questions coming into this season after Kevin Durant, the National Player of the Year, left was how would this team respond? And so far, they've responded, I think, not only better than expectations, but they look terrific so far.
They really do. And you know, when you see how Tennessee still wants to try to play.
A great kid to have around, but sometimes when you lose that star player, the next season you have just as much, if not more, success. It happened with Virginia and Ralph Sampson. They went to the Final Four. 8 points now, 10 rebounds. A career night for the Texas center. Absolutely, when you face adversity the way DJ Augustine has, it certainly prioritizes things in life. And makes it easier to come out and play basketball, not worry about a missed shot, but the respect that he commands on the floor from his teammates is just something special.
And when you see how he handles himself, it's easy to root for him because he's such a...
2:45 left. Texas up by 20, 89-69. Looking to close out the StubHub Legends Classic. Mason hounded by Jordan Howell, so even down 20, Tennessee still putting a lot of pressure on the ball.
But it's hard to come back like this because they're just going to hold it out, and that's what you wait for.
Absolutely.